Coming up on, Harry in the chat already. Right now, Lutz has to stop saying, I can't read that.
Why am I all blurred out here?
Because
what's going on?
The chat's in front of our faces because Ryan's juggling. Coming up on our DLS Stars show today, it's time to pull this guy and that guy. He's not here, but he's here. We'll talk to Sam and Luds about some very important Stars things on the eve of Media Day and 2 days away from on-ice training camp here. DLS Stars starts right now. It is Tuesday, September 16th. This is the DLLS Stars podcast as we are very, very close to the start of training camp for 2025. Craig Ludwig, Sam Nestler's remote today. I'm Owen Newkirk. Ryan Vaughters is our producer. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's show, let's talk about Big Brothers, Big Sisters for a minute. We are very much in the middle of our September Big Brothers, Big Sisters donation month. Please do whatever you can to help make a difference for Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and, of course, All City's commitment. We don't have Super Chats this week. We have a donation button. If you are so kind and generous as to donate, let us know in the chat. We will give you a huge shout-out if you want your favorite DLS Stars drop that Ryan may not even know is in there still because he's our new producer. Then get in there, make a Big Brothers, Big Sisters donation, and then request it. And we'll make him on the show find the drop and play it for you. In addition to that, we also have a DLLS merchandise sale, 20% off just about across the board. A couple of exceptions, but almost all of the DLLS merchandise is discounted right now. And apparently, our boss, who would like you to know that he's the greatest GM that I don't know if I can make that claim. He would like me to make that claim. And here he comes. You're very welcome, boss. Great boss. But Ben would like everybody to know that the Stars show has sold more merch, more Stars-related shirts than any of the other beats here at DLLS.
Imagine that. Making an appearance.
And Lud's got he had to show his Chelsea logo too, which is unfortunate. But what? Yeah. Ben said get them before the season starts because it's on sale now. If you're a diehard, you already get a discount. That means you get an additional discount. Great time to get a finished.
Sounds like if it was 85% off or up to 85, and then you get another discount, are we getting them for free?
It's getting very close.
We're getting close?
Yeah. So you remember, I don't know
getting close to what I can afford.
There's no way you remember the Luka 77 or that Matador shirt I have.
No.
Those are on sale. So those are really well priced. And they're nice shirts. I have them both. So check those out. All right. Ryan, do we have a Sam? We do have a Sam. There he is, wearing his barbecue shirt today, which is also one of the shirts available, the Dallas collection. So check those out. I believe they are 20% off as well. So hit those up. Maybe we can get Sam more than 3 DLLS shirts. He can get 4 or 5. All right.
Wow.
So I've been sitting on this for a couple of weeks, guys, but I'm glad you guys are both here because I want to pull both of you something that Sean wrote for our website. Be a diehard so you can access all the writing that Sean and Sam are doing. AllDLS.com. In the middle of August, actually late August, August 26th, he wrote a piece called Polling NHL Insiders on What They Really Think About the Dallas Stars. And he asked them 8 yes or no questions. And these are members of the media, scouts, executives, none of whom have been guests on the DLS Stars show this summer. Okay, because we already talked. And the whole premise was many of our other 31 guests have, when asked about the Stars, have said, wow, I really like your team. I like your roster. You're a contender. So we're going to start with that. Luds, I'm going to ask you first, then we'll go to Sam. I want a yes or no, and then we'll get you to explain it. Are the Dallas Stars a Stanley Cup contender this season?
Yes.
Why?
Jake Oettinger healthy Miro, Mikko Rantanen, Robertson, Wyatt Johnston, Esa Lindell, Casey DeSmith. Yeah, they have the parts are here, the pieces are here, and I think with a little tweak to a system, along with health, and like we were talking a little earlier in a different piece that we just did, I think when it comes to Jason Robertson, all the noise hopefully is going to be gone soon, and there's a carrot that's being dangled there. Not just a contract, but the Olympics. I think you're going to see a motivated guy there,
especially after missing out on the 4 1/8.
And I think that if again, I think the piece, there's a top 6 spot available. Does somebody grab that, and what does that do? So, I think I do call. I mean, I call them definitely a contender before I'd say no, they're not for sure.
Sam, same question: are the Dallas Stars a Stanley Cup contender?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for elaborating. Why did I have to talk?
I mean, that's it. The show's done. No, I'm now leading to yes, but why?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to play the whole you ask why or no. I think Lutz has said it perfectly. That the team is still deeper. Like we're pointing out all the holes because we watch this team every day, right? We're pointing out, they really need this left winger or whatever that might be. They're still one of the deepest teams in the NHL, even with that. And I think we're not looking at this team saying they need a number 1 center. They need a number 1 defenseman. They need a goalie, because those are harder to find. They need a top 6 forward, which is not easy to find, but it's a lot easier than one of those positions. And they maybe need someone to step into a bigger role. Those are pretty small little weaknesses, if you want to call them that. And I believe in this team and this management team with Jim Nill that they could easily solve those problems down the line after they see what they actually have here to start.
I do think that, to add to what I said earlier, Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn, and I'm not saying that those are top 6, top whatever you want to call them, but I believe that there's such big pieces inside the room. Jamie more than Tyler, because Tyler has already won a cup, but I believe that they want their captain to win a Stanley Cup, and so I think that added motivation, you use that at different times during the playoffs. Whether you say it out loud or you talk as a group without those guys being around. But I believe that those two people are very important to this club, and they want to win it for everybody, but I think there's a little bit extra motivation because of those two guys.
Okay, the panel of our show agrees with the 10 people that were surveyed by Sean. 10 people said yes, 0 said no. Everyone thinks the Dallas Stars are a Stanley Cup contender. Absolutely. They are indeed a Stanley Cup contender. Will they win it is a different story, but they have a shot. As Sean wrote, everybody acknowledged Dallas is in a tier of elite NHL teams, and they are able to win a Stanley Cup. Whether they will or not is a different story. Okay. Question 2. And we'll carry this over into the next segment. Not this question, but this poll. And we'll start with Sam this time. Are the Dallas Stars a better team than last season?
No, I think that one to me is even easier than the contender one. I think the key is going to be, can they be a better team on the ice? But right now we don't see that. So right now the key answer is, on paper, they are a worse team than they were at the end of last season.
Agreed.
I know your answer is they're not a better. You've been complaining about this since the summer.
Well, again, Mikhail Granlund fit in great here.
Perfect
right?
fit.
And there's always different circumstances why players don't stay. If they could have came up with 7.1, he probably would be here. But they can't do that because you have Rantanen here. So because of all the reasons I said earlier that they're still missing a piece. And and that's an important, it's not a bottom 6 spot, it's a top 6 spot. And to ask, even if Maverick gets it, I don't know if that's enough, because you're asking a 20-something-year-old kid in a first full season to come in and fill that spot. So, I think when you look at special teams and you look at power plays and all that other kind of stuff, I think they have enough to get through that. But I do believe that they have to find an appropriate player that can play in that top 6 and take advantage of those minutes.
They're definitely not better than they were in the going into the playoffs, but they could be if certain players step up. And my question to both of you in follow-up to this is, I like Cody Ceci. I thought he was, especially slotted second or third pairing with Dallas, was a fine fit. But I think they can fill his void with the players they have, especially if Miro's fully healthy. Right? I think they have enough on the defense with Bichel taking a step that they can handle those minutes. I think that they will miss Evgeny Dodonov. But I think that if, Maverick takes a step, then that's a big thing. If Sam Steele can add a few more elements to his game, or maybe take on a little bit deeper role, because we know he has some offense in there. It's not just as a checking center. I think that's important. I think that Faksa and Bastian add some size that they need in the checking role, because sometimes Dodonov was on the checking line, not just up and down the lineup, but I think that's okay. My big question is, it's not just Granlund, it's Marchment too. That, Mason Marchment was a frustrating player at times because of some penalties, because of, some of his decision-making. But before he took a puck to the face, he was playing, I think, the best hockey of his career. He was confident. He was making plays. He was scoring some beautiful goals, doing some things that we had never seen before. I thought his skating was better, and he wasn't as out of control on his edges during that time. And I don't think he was quite the same when he came back from that injury. So Granlund, huge piece that you lose, but Marchment also is a big deal as well.
Yeah, and again, I think health got these guys last year too, right? Yep. I mean, is Tyler Seguin going to be healthy enough all year? Matt Duchene has been pretty damn durable over his career. Is hopefully he stays healthy where he is. But I mean, with Mason, I think that polarizing, is that the right kind of word to use at times? And I think there was some frustration even with Pete and those guys with some of the penalties that were taken. Some of those penalties, though, are out of trying to work too hard sometimes, positionally. So you get yourself in a bad spot because you're trying to do a little bit more maybe than you should at that particular moment. But, I mean, for a guy that took the puck to the net and big body and, nobody's going to accuse him of being the best skater in the league, but he got done what he got done. But he was effective,
yes.
Yeah, and that's it.
And he would go to the net.
And I love when you say that word, effective. I mean, I look at the majority of defensemen, be effective and be efficient. And if you can do that, you're a good player that adds to the chemistry of a group for the middle of the road
Not
guys.
to derail this conversation, but your word of efficiency, that's like the biggest word for you for defensemen.
Yeah.
Is not wasting energy. Board battles where they're not dangerous.
Who embodies
extra
that?
Extra skating.
Essa Lindell.
He's number one efficient.
I mean, everything that Essa does, and you watch him, he plays the game from the neck up before anything else. And that's what allows him to be the top power play guy in the NHL as far as minutes and things
penalty
like that.
kill guy.
Yeah, kill the power play.
He can play power play, though.
Yeah, because he gets pucks to the net. And so, I do, hopefully Miro is what we've all read about and been told.
Healthy.
And healthy and everything. So, because he's a horse. And again, Thomas Harley. I mean, you hear more people around the league, even some of the interviews. How many times did Harley's name get mentioned?
A lot.
Right? A lot.
It's ever since the
And
Four
I
Nations.
don't think Thomas, to be totally frank about this, not Matthew DeFrank or anybody like that, but I don't think he is the best defensive defenseman. Like, he can be way better.
I think there's a lot of room still to grow.
Yeah, because he gets on the wrong side of certain things at certain times. But what he does offensively, he's another guy like Miro. He kind of defends with the puck. When he has the control of the puck, it's when he has to defend some of the reads and decisions and things like that. But he's a young player.
But he's also not as bad of a defenseman as some of the elite offensive guys. He's not. I don't put him in the Erik Karlsson category.
And I'm going to say, from a coach's standpoint, and I'm talking about the coaches that are on the bench, they have the same feeling, because how often does he kill penalties? Guys that don't kill penalties means they don't trust him.
What if you see him killing penalties this year? What would that
Well, that
say?
means that he's evolved and he's gotten better at defending, because you're not using a guy just to say, he's good and everything, I don't want to use him. Yeah. You have concerns. Elaine didn't want to put him out there. So, when your D coach isn't throwing you out there and again, but then Miro didn't play there either. That can be because of minutes with Miro. I mean, again, you don't want your best guys, if you don't have to, killing penalties, because there's a lot of pucks that are coming up in that. I would rather have a couple guys like Ludwig and Chambers out there killing penalties, because if they get injured, other guys can step in and take their spots. Be honest with you.
Sam, the polling in this was 8 no, 2 yes. Are the Stars a better team than last season? So we're heavily on the no
side.
That
makes it 11.
So that would be 11-2.
Yeah.
But Sean did note that the 2 yeses and even some of the no's said they would like to see what Jim Nill does during the season to improve the roster.
How'd that play out?
Like they did last year.
That's the key.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like to see, yeah.
No. How's that worked out so far?
Well, they haven't yet. It's not during the season.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about that one move?
I think they're talking about, can they add at the deadline to, yeah. Do you think there's something to be done there as we get into the season?
Yeah, I feel like that's what I was just talking about before with how this team's going to look on the ice, I believe, is far different than we are seeing them on paper. And I don't think, to be totally honest, that we're going to look at it at the deadline or even in January and still have the same things that we believe they need. Maybe we'll still think they need that top 6. Maybe no one takes that spot. But the way this team has gone, I mean, the way the NHL is nowadays, the team changes drastically from beginning of the season to the trade deadline in most cases. So see how they start off, see what their strengths and weaknesses are. And then, as Lud said, 30 games in, maybe, when there really should be fully up to speed on the Gulutzan system, then see what the weaknesses are and how you can overcome them. And if you really need to add a big name or if it's a piece because someone else took a bigger spot.
Here's the problem with having to add during the season, being the Dallas Stars. There's 20 other teams know that they need to add. The price goes up, and you might not be able to afford it.
That's a very good point. We'll talk more about that and lots more on this polling questions next here on DLLS.
All right, but first I'm going to talk to you guys about Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, in case you didn't know that. You and I and a lot of other people make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right with those decisions can get you paid. So don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. We got football now in full swing. I watched a little bit of the NFL this weekend. College football was crazy. NFL games were crazy. The Cowboys game was out of this world. So plenty going on for you to get in there, and Prize Picks helps you make it super simple and get the best chance to win. It's simple to play. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. It's also the best way to get action in sports, more than 40 states, including California, Texas, where we are now, and Georgia. Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, simple, safe, and secure. Download the app today and use the code DLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
All right, let's talk about game time. I probably should have had Sam do this read because he is a college fanatic. And notice I didn't say college football because he loves college hockey too, but he is a college football fanatic. He is a Miami Hurricane, for better or for worse. But anyway, the Game Time app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's a great way to get tickets to cheer on your favorite college team. It's the hack for unlocking amazing deals and experiences in just a few taps. And of course, it's incredibly easy to use. And the Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. And of course, always fees are included. What you see is what you pay for. There's no surprise fees at checkout. I've used it before. It's super easy, and you don't look at $50 tickets and then they turn out to be $85 tickets at checkout. Fees are there right up front. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code DLLS. $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code DLLS for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. All right, before we go to our next question, I think Carly made a really interesting point here in the chat. She said, I think the Stars are better now than they were at the start of last season, not the way they ended last season. Now, of course, they didn't have Mikko Rantanen last year. They didn't have Granlund. They didn't have Ceci. So the question is, as they're going into this team, presumably healthy, we'll find out tomorrow. Jim Nill and Glen Gulutzan do their first meet with the media day, and then first skates are on Thursday. Are the Stars equal to or better than the start of last year's roster as opposed to the end of last year's season?
Well, they didn't have Robo playing, right?
He was hurt.
I mean, he was hurt.
Yep. Tyler was trying to play through an injury.
Tyler was on the verge of going in. He knew he was going somewhere to get
he was
work
playing
done.
well for being a guy that needed a surgery.
Yeah, he probably again. You know what? It was one line for me. It was Duchesne, Marchman.
They were so good early.
Yeah. So, but
the Hintz and Robo and Dodonov.
No.
I mean, they tried all sorts of different pieces there.
Yeah,
it just didn't. Bork was up there. Stankoven was there.
Dumba was, I mean, the Dumba thing, that obviously started early, and so I don't. What was the record early? I have no idea. Did they get off to? I don't remember. Did they get off to a great start?
It was okay. I mean,
were they 520 games, or were they 5 games above 500?
Sam's
what were
looking
they?
It up right now.
I know. I'm trying to talk as
he's
he's
trying to vamp a
squinting
little
at
bit
his computer.
Well, he's not wearing his glasses.
I thought he was faster than that.
No, he's definitely slower than that. Come on, you know the answer to that.
First 2 months, they were 15-8, 30 points.
What were they?
15-8. That's not bad.
That's not bad. That's good.
15-8 the first 2 months. Yep, they were 7-3 in their first 10.
Yeah, they got off to a pretty good start. All right,
so
to the questions again. Luds, should the Stars have fired Pete Deboer?
You know what? I don't think it's fair for any of us to answer that question sitting here. We're not in the locker room. We don't hear what's going on with the players. We don't know what Jim Nill knew and Janko and all the guys around it. I trust that, especially with Jim Nill. Jim doesn't like doing that kind of stuff, right? And I think that for Jim to pull the trigger on that, there had to be something was discombobulated. And I don't believe it was just the comment about Otter. That maybe that was the cherry on top.
That was the final tipping point.
I think that there were probably some other things going on that players are conveying to certain people that get back upstairs. And when it, and again, with the way it all went down and way, again, if you look at that team as a whole, I will say it again, I believe that they got to the third round because of 2 players. I don't think if they wouldn't have had Rantanen and especially Jake and those first 2 rounds, I don't know if they'd have made it past there.
What about you, Sam? That's an inconclusive from Luds. He didn't answer.
I'm saying that he needed to go.
Okay, so he should have. The Stars should have fired.
Everything I think I know.
Yes.
I don't know.
No, you qualifying it is very fair because we don't know all the.
Right.
To me, well, I'll let Sam answer first, and then I'll respond. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I'm going to answer it this way. I'm not going to talk about the Jake stuff. I'm not going to talk about anything else other than this team understands that they're in the window right now, right? They have been in the window arguably for a few years, but eventually that window, whether it closes all the way or it just starts to dwindle a little bit, it starts to happen, right? And this team understands that they need to if they're going to get a cup, it's going to be in the next 2 to 3 years. So for me to see Jim Nill go out and make that move, he deep down and the staff deep down fully believed that Pete Deboer was not going to get that job done. Whatever the reasoning is, whatever all the different things that went into it, when it came to it, they said, Pete Deboer's not going to win this team a Stanley Cup this year, most likely. We need to make a change. And for that reason alone, I say yes, because I trust that staff understands the importance of this season and the next few years.
I would have said yes beforehand, and then when Jim Nill said, Pete came to me around shortly after the 4 Nations and said he's pushing all the buttons he can and he's not sure where to go. That right there, and that's not saying he's not a good coach, because all good coaches get to a point where they say, Paul Maurice left Winnipeg. I've done everything I can do. They need a new voice. They need somebody with different solutions. And so I think it's absolutely the case. The poll was, should the Stars have fired Pete Deboer? 4 said yes. 6 said no, which I thought was interesting. Now, that may be a bit of the, hey, Pete's a high-caliber coach. You've done nothing but win there up until the 3rd round. But I think, to Sam's point, time to find another answer. So the next question is, should the Stars have hired Glen Gulutzan? Luds?
TBD. I mean, how do you answer the question so you don't know what happened?
Yeah.
There's nobody else.
Was there anybody else
was
out
available
there that you would have liked to have seen instead?
I haven't
of
heard one name out there of a qualified coach that has been behind a bench that would come into this team and take it over and do different things with it. I mean, Gully's got the familiarity. I think Gully's learned a ton since he had his first go around.
I do too.
And what I like about bringing him in is he's been behind the bench or standing behind two of the best players on the planet, and know how those guys go about their business and what they do, and he can also watch what other teams have tried to do to stop those two guys. So I think there's a lot of things that Gully will take from his time being part of the Edmonton Oilers that he can use, because you've got some similar pieces here. Maybe they're not the same two guys, but let's just look at it. How did they shut these guys down? I mean, I believe I know how, but and I think that's where if you believe in this group, a guy that shut them down knows how to turn them around and get them over the hump.
Sam?
Yeah, I would say if David Carl was actually available and was the Denver coach and was really an option, I'd be a little bit more back and forth on whether he was the right one. But obviously, I'm assuming he wasn't a full option or said no. So I think of all the available candidates that we at least have heard of, Gulutzan was the best choice for all the reasons Lud just said. I think the familiarity is a great talking point over the summer and a great conversational piece. I think it's actually important. It's not always a huge deal, but for this team and where they are, the ups and downs, the kind of weird balance of we've been really good but not good enough, I think the familiarity and the communication will be huge, and Gulutzan was the right one.
I believe your poll is going to be about down the middle.
You're right, but more so than the Deboer. 6 yes on Gulutzan, 4 no. And Sean made an interesting point. He said, well, 6 no's for should they have fired Pete Deboer. It seemed to be that 2 of those yeses were saying we should have kept Deboer, but if you're going to replace him, Glen Gulutzan's the guy you should have done. I agree with Sam. I think David Carl could have been a generational hire, and it was probably the Dallas Stars job is probably the best NHL situation he's been offered yet. Because
let me ask you
the best, but I believe that you are right about David Carl when you said he just signed long-term and he could not break that bond.
Not even that. He was not going to let those players, the recruits that were committed, because those recruits, apparently to what we hear, were not coming there if he wasn't there. I just think in your heart, how do you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's going to get his kick.
Is there going to be a chance down the road for him in the NHL?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's going to get his opportunity.
Right.
I believe if he wants. I mean, I'm sure the contract will allow him out of the contract.
How does he off-board then? How does he get out of that if he feels so strongly to
I'm
his
sure
recruit?
He's had that conversation. I think that they're happy as hell that he came back.
Yeah.
And I believe that will be part of the conversation, that I'm staying here. But, if that opportunity comes up, we appreciate you with the whole recruit thing. Great. Here's my question. Is if Mike Sullivan was available,
Joel Quenneville or David Carl.
Mike Sullivan would be interesting because he's a winner.
That's why I started out by saying with the people that were available. Because if Q is available, if Sully's available, and you believe that you have a Stanley Cup contender, how do you not go to guys that have won it before and that have history with the same kind of thing? The history with great players, understand the room, not intimidated by anybody. How would you not?
Right. I agree. But I think that given the options available, I think Gully, and it's interesting too, because I think Gully's the right decision of availability. Carson wrote in the chat, I was sold on Gully when he immediately talked about being more physical.
Me too. But again, that's kind of, listen, everybody listens to our show. They know, around the league, they know that we've been bitching about that all year long.
Well, Natalie goes, Gully has said all the right things.
All you have to do is watch him play.
No, Natalie's question, Gully said all the right things so far, but is this roster capable of doing what he wants?
There you go. That's with the GM. Gully's not going to make the trades.
No.
So, but I do believe in the way that Jim has put teams together. He believes in these types of players. You know what I'm saying? But we're seeing him sprinkle in a couple guys. So maybe, and the reason I always kind of, are you serious? Because I played against the teams that he had in Detroit. Man, it wasn't fun playing against them guys. And those were buildings similar to Philly. You weren't excited going in there and playing them guys because, there was 3-4 bad dudes on that team.
You knew what you were in for.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was very intimidating. And again, I know that has changed. It's different.
Right. The game's not the same.
But
as it used
with
to be.
what we witnessed against Edmonton from Darnell Nurse and Bouchard, who is not no big bad dude, and take advantage of a couple. I don't want to say take advantage of a couple guys, but with no response, it's unacceptable. And so there you go.
There you go. All right.
Beating a dead horse again.
We still have more to get to. We'll do that after the break here on DLLS.
But first, we get to talk about that merchandise sale that we've heard so much about. Currently, a massive sale going on with the DLS merchandise. Not just the best-selling DLS Stars show either, for all the shows at DLS.
Best-selling, by far, Sam. Best-selling.
Up to 85% off for certain items. 20% off pretty much everything in the entire collection. So we got the original shirts, we got the amazing tie-dye sweatshirt with our mascot on there that I love, the college sweatshirts, the actual college team shirts, the DLS or the Dallas collection, like the one that I'm wearing with the barbecue. If you saw Sean in our studio for the first time with all four of us yesterday, Sean had the mascot algorithm on there, and
still the wrong word.
Amazing shirts. We have the Jake Oettinger shirt, we have the Rantanen shirt. The Mavs team has some cool ones, so make sure to go check that out at alldls.com. There are plenty of amazing things. 20% off warehouse sale going on right
Sam,
now.
I'm looking at the merch page right now. Stars branded shirts for DLS on sale. Finnish Mafia, the Mike Modano 16-bit, the Otter t-shirt, the Big Moose, of course, the regular ones, Mikko Finisher on sale, the green DLS flag shirt, Wyatt Johnston 16-bit is on sale.
Ooh.
I mean, and then you want a good one, that Luka Magic. It's only $13.99 right now. Save 20% off an already discounted shirt.
Somebody better have the Leon Bischel shirt in the works. I'm going to tell you.
You need
with
a
this
Bischel?
one?
Yeah.
With him in the box?
With the year?
No. Him crushing somebody. Or just
blowing a guy up.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to crush you guys.
Yeah.
Also join the Supporters Club, which is really cool.
For 10 seconds.
I forgot we were talking about that.
Supporters Club, true sickle level stuff. Join it.
I love it. Yeah, check out those emojis. They're a lot of fun. But that's all right. The merch is big today. All right, guys, next question. And this is, by the way, Nin Polite. Best-selling equals Stars DLLS trip in the chat.
Yep.
Suggesting that if we keep doing well with these, we're due a trip. I'm not going to argue that.
Who said that? Ben?
Luds.
No, Nin.
Oh.
Luds, where would you go if we could go anywhere in the league?
Where would I go?
Where would we go? Where would you want us to go if we could go anywhere?
Le Centre Bell. He would take us to Montreal.
Oh,
that would be fun, wouldn't it?
Cheers.
I've done an AHL game at the Bell Center, and it's
amazing.
It's awesome. The press broadcast gondola hanging
I didn't
over
know
the
we were
upper deck.
actually going to the game.
Well,
I wasn't planning on going to the game.
Then you want to go to Vancouver?
Yes, I meant
No, Montreal.
I want to go to BC.
We'll go to Montreal. I'm just not responsible for you guys after we get off the plane.
Yeah, you can go do your thing. You just have to make it to the game.
Yeah,
you're good at that.
Friends are.
I just want hot dogs.
Next question. We'll start with Sam this time. Should the Stars trade Jason Robertson?
I just want to make sure that I get this out there. I'm taking Kim with us so we can go shopping because she'll want to go shopping.
Okay.
Just want to get that out.
That's fair.
She would definitely want to go shopping in Montreal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
They should not trade Jason Robertson for all the reasons we've talked about. You don't find goal scorers. Now, I believe we're at least planning on having a certain conversation that would change my answer for one or two players around the league that could be available. But in general, unless it's one of those, I think this is a player you build around along with the rest of your core.
Sam, I think we're going to punt that for another show because this is I know, but we will do it because based on what Lud said yesterday about Billy Guerin thinking Robertson for Kaprizov, there may be a conversation.
There's no way that's an even up deal, though. There's not a chance.
What would you trade? Should the Stars trade Jason Robertson?
Should they? If they get the right package, they're anybody's tradable. If you get the right deal for Robo, but again, we're talking about.
Are you talking about being blown away by a trade deal, or shopping him?
I think you're always shopping players, whether you're doing it publicly or not. You're always trying to improve your team.
Right.
You're always listening.
See, I don't think the Stars should be trying to get rid of Jason Robertson. They should.
I don't think they're right.
That's what I'm saying.
When
I say shop, look, you'd be crazy if you don't listen to options and deals. You always do, but I don't think they should be actively trying to move him. That's, I think, by the way, the poll said yes 0, no 10, unanimous.
Can I ask you, what is the package that would make you trade Jason Robertson right now? Like, if the Stars were as good as we think they are right now, and their holes were what we thought they were, what would you need to see for
Robo?
For Robo,
well, you give up Jason Robertson for what?
From I'm getting size back. I want size.
Yeah.
I want some wingers with some size. Offhand, I can't. I know I bring up a couple guys, but they're older.
Yeah.
I'm not trading. What is Robo? 26, 27?
Yep.
I'm not trading Robo for a 34-year-old. That's not what you're doing. But sometimes if you're looking for players like that, and Robo's a 80, 90 point guy, and let's say he gets 40 goals, you might be looking for a couple guys, one that can get you 15, one that can get you 20, but they're on the perimeter of the ice.
Right.
There's some weight there. And so you become harder to play against. I mean, again, Hintz, Rantanen, Wyatt, Johnston, you got Miro, you got Harley. To me, there's probably enough bullets in the clip there that if you had the right package, and again, I would say the same thing about Roope. I mean, if there's another centerman, again, I don't think there's anybody off the table. It doesn't mean I'd be looking to trade these guys, but I think you always have to be looking to improve your team, which goes back to what's your philosophy, how you think you're going to win the Stanley Cup. Because if you keep getting to the third round and getting knocked out, maybe you got to tweak your philosophy a little bit. That's just what I think.
Okay, maybe let's pause the questions for a second, Ryan. Maybe, Sam, we should bring this back in, because I was going to do this as a hypothetical. So let's do it. Would you trade Jason Robertson and either Roope Hintz or Wyatt Johnston for Connor McDavid?
Oh, yeah. Who wouldn't? For Connor McDavid? Are you talking about one of them? Any of those three?
No.
Even up?
Two of those three. Would you give up your top line center and your top line left wing for Connor McDavid?
I don't know if I would trade Wyatt.
I'm saying Wyatt or Roope, because let's pick either one of them.
Oh,
whichever one.
If you're asking me if I trade Connor for Roope or trade Connor for Robo.
No. For one of those two centers
plus
Robo.
Yeah.
2 players.
I would probably trade him for Hintz and Robo.
Wyatt and Robo?
I would keep Wyatt.
Sam?
I would probably trade him for anyone on the roster.
Would you trade all three of those?
No.
3 for 1?
No, not all three. No. Two max, but I don't think there's anyone.
He's got to have somebody to play with. I mean,
Mikko Rantanen.
It can't be him, Nathan Bastian, and Colin Blackwell.
It's a silly hypothetical, because I don't think that Edmonton has any design to do anything other than re-sign him. But what if they get to the point, like Colorado did, where they're worried about him hitting the market and him leaving? Because if he doesn't agree to a deal, it's not about the money with Edmonton. It's about his belief of whether or not they can win.
See, the easy part, I believe, for Edmonton is when he's familiar. He has some familiarity with the people that are running the program, right? And the coach.
He knows almost all of them very well.
Connor, come up here. We want to talk to you. Here's the 1,100 players in the NHL. Which 4 do you want to play with?
Yeah.
That one. Okay, well, we're going to figure out how to do it. Okay, when you do it, I'll sign that contract. That Connor just wants somebody to play with that he can win a better chance of winning a Stanley Cup. And exactly, get me a target that isn't, I don't know who he is from period to period.
Right.
Okay, and again, I know Skinner's a young guy and everything like that, but again, it's Jekyll and Hyde there with their goaltenders.
Problem with Skinner is that if it's not against the Dallas Stars in the conference final, he's
don't think
just
that
great.
Goaltender in Boston could end up there.
You're talking about Swayman.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine the Bruins getting rid of Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman within like a 3-year period?
Where are they at right now? I don't know. I'm just saying.
I heard, and I know Sam is a huge listener too.
It's easy for us to talk about this stuff too.
Yes.
But there's people that are smart and listening up there going, how the hell are you going to get that guy and that guy?
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to make the dollars work too.
Well, I know Sam listens to Elliot Friedman's podcast, 32 Thoughts, and they had Charlie McAvoy as part of their, and they talked to Jake as well, part of the media tour. And Charlie said an interesting line where they asked him, where is he Boston this year? And Charlie said, I know most people for the first time in his career are probably picking Boston to not be a playoff team.
They're a bubble team.
And he said, I'm bullish. We're better than people think we are, and we have more pieces than people think we do.
That's what the future captain is supposed to say.
Yeah.
They're going to start season about a captain.
Is he the next captain?
I believe he will.
That's
But your other option is Pasta, and for me,
I don't think Pasta needs to be captain.
But I mean, he doesn't lead the way that
McAvoy does.
Charlie he plays with an edge too. I mean, he probably you probably don't want him to because he's been hurt a couple times like that. But I just think that I that's what I would believe. That's
okay. So obviously, the whole reason this hypothetical came up was I'm sitting there thinking, like, how do you get Connor McDavid if for some crazy reason he hits the market when his contract's up a year from now? So for just a minute, let's suggest that Edmonton decides to see out this year and they can't come to an agreement, and now he hits free agency. Would you then, because you'd have to offload big name, big price players to fit Connor McDavid if you signed him as a free agent?
Would you trade Rantanen for McDavid?
Yes.
Yes, in a heartbeat, I would.
Boy,
I trade.
And you keep Robo, and you keep Wyatt, and you keep Hintz.
Oh,
no brainer.
But you'd have to.
But if you got to throw one of those two,
somebody else.
But you're not gonna. Not those three.
None of them.
Not those three. You can throw somebody else in.
You'd have to have somebody that's worth at least $5 to $7 million.
Would you throw Harley in? Would you throw Miro in?
Ooh.
Would you throw Essa in?
It's Connor McDavid.
Oh,
I mean, Essa, yes.
I would keep Essa, but
I don't know if I want to get rid of Harley or Miro because they're hard. Those guys are hard to come by.
100. I agree totally.
And you have two of them. Some teams don't have a number one; they have two. That fit that
okay. Well, would you trade Connor if Otter was one of the pieces? Because what are they looking for?
Then you got yourself.
They're looking for that, but they don't want to give Connor up for that.
If you were going to do that, what's your answer in net? Casey DeSmith, or would you go try to find somebody else?
I don't know.
I think that leads a really big question. You have Connor McDavid.
Get Pickard.
Get Calvin Pickard, or get Stuart Skinner. Make it a package deal.
I'm curious if McDavid is that much. Let's say he's Robo and Hintz or Robo and Wyatt. If that's his kind of deal, what is Crosby worth? Like, what if Sidney Crosby was a trade target? Who would you trade for him? But two, is that still a similar type of asking price, or is his age and all that going to lower it to maybe one of those guys?
See, Sid, this whole Crosby answered the question. Yeah, he did the whole.
He did.
Sid, Letang, what's the Malkin? They all did the ticket thing, right? Yeah, a couple days ago. So they're out delivering tickets for all the
season ticket
fans
deliveries. Yes.
Yeah, and then Mario comes driving by in the Rolls Royce and honks at him. but when it comes to, because I just think that because Sid's agent comes out and says, you never know, where Sid's going, no, not happening.
You know what though? It's the first time that either Pat Brisson, his agent, or Sidney Crosby,
and Sid would never say it.
But I think they acknowledged.
But there's
a potential for this.
Well, why wouldn't there be? They're not going to be good for the rest of Sid's career.
Well, he's saying, and Brisson said this too. If they're a playoff team, then there's no way he's getting traded.
But they're not going to be.
They're
a playoff
not. They're
team.
going to be one of the worst teams in the East.
They got 67 on that team, don't they?
There's a chance they could get Gavin McKenna.
No,
with help. Maybe not that bad.
Yeah, but I mean. But for Sid, I think it comes down. If Sid moves, I think it's two teams. It's either Montreal or it's Colorado. Those are I believe that's the only two teams I think he would go to. And if I were him, I'd probably go to Colorado because they may be a little bit closer to another cup.
Getting Sidney Crosby with the Dallas Stars roster. I mean, you'd take him in a heartbeat, wouldn't you?
I would. Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, of course.
Winner, leader.
Yeah. And he's only making $8.7 million versus 12 or 18 or 25 or whatever you're going to have to pay McDavid.
I love your description of him yesterday. You said he's a superstar that plays like a third liner.
Yeah, I mean, he does.
He has the work ethic of a third liner.
Yeah, I mean, that's why everybody would want him. And again, what is he? Didn't he get 100 points last year?
I think
he got 100 points last year. He's 35 or whatever he is. 36 is he maybe? I don't know. But
he's 38.
38?
He's 38. He turned 38 August 7th.
91 points.
91 points. 1987 birthday. Billy Guerin was finishing his career when Sidney was a young pup. It's amazing. All right. The last part I want to add, and then we're going to carry over
just
the
so
questions.
everybody knows what we're doing here, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Right.
So
It's a fun hypothetical. I don't see it happening. But if it were the case, let's say McDavid did hit the open market and you had to clear up space.
you're talking about a Gretzky deal now. That's what this is. It
but
would be a
think about
modern
this.
day Gretzky thing.
If for some reason McDavid did hit free agency, where all you have to do is sign him to a big deal.
That ain't never happened. Why would you?
Hold on. Let me just play
Everybody in that organization's getting fired if they
probably.
Yes. My God.
Yes.
Give up Connor McDavid
Stan
for
Bowman
free?
would not be able to probably remain as the GM.
Not happening.
But if it were the case, you could then trade a couple big pieces for other assets and still sign him as a free agent. But if that happened, there's 31 teams in the league that would want to sign Connor McDavid.
Everybody, they would just be dropping all their players. Every team would be making cap space. Just
Absolute madness next summer if that happened, Lutz.
Let's not even go there. You got to be kidding me.
It's fine. All right. More questions from the polling. We have some other interesting ones about the Stars as we get ready for the season. We'll do that next here on DLLS. But first, we got to talk about being a diehard. It's not just about wacky hypotheticals of can you make a trade and resurrect Gordie Howe and Rocket Richard and Kenny Dryden, maybe Guy Lafleur from the Nordiques or Guy Lafleur from the Canadian. I don't know which one.
Flower in his prime.
In the prime. Would that be a Nordique?
No.
Be a Montreal Canadian because he played for both.
No, but that was after.
Yeah.
Then he went to New York.
All sorts of fun stuff. Well, anyway, being a diehard is a great way to get access to everything we do here at DLLS. Now, if you look at that QR code just under Sam's mug, you can scan that, and that will turn you right over to our website, alldls.com. Sign up today. Be a diehard. If you do, we're talking about a merchandise sale, you get a free DLLS shirt of your choice with the first year of your annual subscription, and you also get things like access to all the writing and all the articles on the website for Stars, Mavs, Cowboys, Rangers, you name it, and merchandise discounts. So if you think the merch is on sale already, but you want to get a little better, use that merch, 20% off being a diehard. And in addition to that, let's talk about getting extra merch by using the Ball Knower bonus. Go to the website, alldls.com, then you click on merch, and then you'll see a little logo at the top that says Ball Knower bonus. You can go on there, pick one of the current trivia questions out there. Cowboys, Bears, total points, which way you're going to go. Then you buy $25 or more with merch. Use your diehard discount. You use the merchandise sale. You can really take advantage of this time. And if you get your Ball Knower bonus question correct, then you get a gift card for All City merch for the amount you spent. So you can basically double your money, get more great DLLS merch. That's the Ball Knower bonus. Right now they have several college football questions up there, as well as NFL. When we were in the playoffs, we had Stars going to win game 4 or not. A lot of fun. Go to alldls.com and sign up to be a diehard, play the Ball Knower bonus, and get some great merch in because of it. Okay, guys. Final segment. A couple more questions from this article that I want to throw you at them. Start with Luds. Is Jake Oettinger a top 5 goalie in the NHL?
Yeah, I'd have to say so. Yeah. I mean, who do you got number 1?
It's a great question.
No, it's an easy question.
Is it?
Who's just won the Stanley Cup twice?
You think it's Bobrovsky?
How can it not be?
So Sam is thinking about the Vezina Trophy winner.
He hasn't proven it to me. When you're talking about the top goalie, it's the guy that wins the Stanley Cup. It's not the guy that wins the regular season and then doesn't get any further. Mm-hmm. And he's obviously got some cracks in him, like between his ears. I mean, at least he did. I don't know. I mean, Bob just keeps getting better every round.
I remember when...
And he's got a great team in front of him. I agreed.
But when you looked at his contract, that $10 million...
Guy in New York's probably pretty good, too.
When he he was in Columbus, and he goes to Florida, and you're going, boy, that's not going to age well. It's aging pretty well right now.
Well, I think if you took the dude with the Rangers and you put him in...
Shesterkin's pretty darn good.
How many goaltenders can you say? If you took Jake and put him in Florida, Jake's winning the Stanley Cup. I don't think you're losing anything.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Sam, is he a top 5 goalie in the NHL?
Yeah, I'm just he's right there. If he's not top five, he's like six. Like is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the Vasilevskis, Bobrovsky, Hellebuck, Sorokin when he was really on, Shesterkin. So I think Jake might even be number five. So yes, top five.
The poll said yes 2, 8 no. And apparently everyone agrees he's a top 10 goalie, but not necessarily 5 or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's right on that cusp.
Yeah.
He's close. If he has a great season this year and if he keeps winning in the playoffs, then yeah, he is. He's right there. Okay.
Hey, a goalie's 80% of your team, right?
Unless he's bad.
Then he's 100%.
Will Miro Heiskanen ever win a Norris Trophy?
Wow. And again, to me, that's more about the supporting cast because in today's game, it's not about how you play at both ends of the rink. It's how many points you get.
It's very offensively minded.
Yeah. So, with Hughes and Fox and McCarr, it's going to be tough, especially with Kale, right? And Hughes, it's going to be tough. Are you going to be in the top 3? Yeah, but is he going to get 100 points? I don't think he does the same things on the offensive blue line that the other two guys can do. That I don't think he does. I think that he transports the puck so well. He skates so well. His defending.
I don't think he's looking for it offensively as much. I think he's a team. He brings
fair.
his team.
Yeah, well, we complain about that a lot on power play.
Sometimes he's not selfish enough.
Yeah.
But he's better than all those offensive defensemen in his own end. I think he's a better defenseman than in the D zone with his stick, with his skating, with his positioning than McCarr, Fox, Hughes.
I think Hughes is pretty
Hughes
good.
is real.
I think Hughes
they're
is better
all good.
than
This
McKinnon
is not a negative to any
in
of
his
them.
own end.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to finish in the top 3 a lot until those other guys are gone.
And he's not younger than them.
No, that's what I mean. I that's why I think he's going to finish in the top. Hopefully he finishes in the top 3 because if he does, it means the Stars are having a good season.
Sam, do you think?
I don't think he'll ever win one because the guys, Les just said it, the offense is what's more important to the way it's voted today. And all the guys you just mentioned are still going to be there and still doing what they're doing. But if anyone on Dallas gets close to that award, I think it's Thomas Harley, not Miro Heiskanen. I think Thomas Harley will outscore Miro Heiskanen in most seasons. If you look at Miro's stats, he's more of his big year was like 72, 74 points, something like that when the Stars were scoring a ridiculous amount of goals in 22, 23. He's not that guy. He's not a 90-point guy, and he never will be. And I only see it going down now with Thomas Harley elevating his game. And I believe Harley will start to get more of those offensive responsibilities and be the highest scoring defenseman on this team. So definitely, I think no. He should win it, but no.
And I think we've talked about this 100 times. Harley has a little bit more offense to his game, a little more directness offensively.
That's the word.
He
shoots the puck. He's more willing to shoot the puck, where Miro wants to distribute it more.
But he has a few more questions in the D zone than Miro does right now.
Yeah, I would say that's true. Listen.
I think there's
parts of Miro's
players.
game defensively I don't love either.
Is it the physicality?
He goes to the wall sometimes. I don't like the. He's more stick positionally. I think he can get beat. I see him stare at pucks and he gets popped, but he's got the ability to recover. You know what I mean? His lateral movement is so good that he can recover. So I'm always going to be nitpicky on that kind of stuff. I think with Harley's got a better shot. He's got a quicker shot. He's got a more accurate shot. He's more willing to shoot.
He's a little heavier than Miro, too.
I agree with Sam. It's like he's going to get closer to taking it because he's going to get closer to 20 goals in a season.
Mm-hmm.
Miro's tops might be 10 or 11, unless he changes. He may just listen. He's shooting the puck all the time. I just think it's a mindset. I think if you ask Miro to take a few more shots, I think he would. But I think he's just, kind of set the way he is. And Thomas is more greedy. Nothing wrong with that.
All right, last question, guys. Will Mikko Rantanen, I said Miro again, will Mikko Rantanen be a 100-point player in Dallas without Nathan MacKinnon? Sam?
Yes, I will say yes because I don't think this team can afford to be as deep as they were. So maybe on last year's team, if they had the full Granlund and everyone all year, Rantanen probably doesn't rack up the points that he could because they have the depth. they're going to rely a lot on Mikko Rantanen, just like they did the playoffs, and they're going to do it this year. I think he will at least get close to 100 points. Yep.
I think he's only done it twice, and he's done it with a Stanley Cup, components. I don't think he's going to get there. And again, he's only played all 82 games, I believe, 2 or 3 times in his career. He's had some years where he's only played 40 games, 50 games. So I'm not saying that he's injury prone, but, in order to get to 100 points, and again, is their power play going to be because that's where you're going to get the majority of your points, right? Is their power play going to be the same? I don't know. I don't think he's getting to 100.
I like what I saw in the playoffs with Duchesne and Rantanen together on the power play. We're not going to see that a lot in 5-on-5. We don't think.
Yeah, we don't know what
but
that's going on.
I think that's the big question mark, right? I think Mikko Rantanen is capable of scoring 100 points with Dallas without Nathan MacKinnon. But we don't even know what line combination. Is it going to be Robertson, Hintz, and Rantanen? We don't know. Sean pointed out that Mikko had a 1.22 points per game average in the playoffs last year, which for an 82-game season,
but
that's
that
100
doesn't
points.
Matter.
Right.
Playoffs don't matter because you're talking about 100 points in the first 82 games.
That's right.
Now, when it gets to 84, maybe. I'm just saying, does that start next year?
Yeah.
Wait, that
one
starts
more
next
season.
year. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, he gets 2 more. Well, that means
2 more games?
Yeah.
So maybe be at 98 instead of 100?
Yeah. So
The other thing for him is if you look at his stats over his career, his year before he hit 100 for the first time was 92. I think he went from like 88 to 92 to 105 or 104 the 2 next years. Then he had last year where he was on 3 different teams and it was all chaotic. So would that, if he didn't get traded, maybe if he got traded once and didn't get traded twice, is that continuing, right? Is he going to go from now 104 to 107? Or is that just he had 2 really, really good years where him and MacKinnon were on a different level and he's really a 90-point guy? That's going to be the big question, is to see if he can continue that progress now that he actually has a team that wants him.
And you know what? Maybe Gully comes in and he wants a little bit more accountability defensively. You don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that you take a guy like Rantanen and put handcuffs on him, but he may be asked to be in a little bit more on the right side of the puck a lot of times.
He is a force on the wall.
Yeah.
He wins so many of those battles, and he never shies away from it. From what I saw from when he came to Dallas through the playoffs, he was not a problem in that category at all. In fact, he was a big strength. Can he, with his passing ability,
that's
can
why
he spring
that's why
more?
it's who he plays with.
Yeah.
So
Roope
Hintz has got to score.
Yeah.
If he plays with Robo's going to have to score because that's where a lot of points. I think Rantanen, has he gotten 50 once or twice? I believe he's gotten it once for sure. Well, it was the year that we went over 100 points. I think he had like 52 goals or something like that. And
55.
55?
Yep.
Okay. 55.
His first year, so in 22-23.
How many of them were power play goals?
Let's see. His power play goals that year were 13.
37. No, 13, 37. So
37 power play points.
50.
13
That's a lot of
power
points
play.
on power play. That must have been a really good power play that year,
37
right?
goals that were not on the power play.
When you got a healthy Val, MacKinnon, McCarr,
Landeskog
Rantanen
was healthy back then.
I don't care who you put out there that's going to stand in front of the net. I mean, when you got those 4 guys on your power play, very similar. I mean, Dallas had that kind of going on for the last couple of years too.
22-23, he had 55 goals, 105 points. The next year, 23-24, 42 goals, 104 points. Last year, combined between 3 teams, which is crazy, he ended up having 32 goals. And if I do the math really quick, what is that? 90 points?
90, yeah. Okay.
I mean, 90 points during all that last year. You got to imagine the guy
he had
100.
25 goals and 64 points in 49 games in Colorado last year. And then they traded him. That's nuts.
That's
unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
All right. Really interesting thought exercise aside from the McDavid silly hypothetical, which is fun and hopefully entertaining, but as Luds likes to say, very much kind of avoiding the dose of reality.
Just pretend that we were sitting at the bar at 1:30 a.m. and started this conversation.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I'm saying that's kind of what it
was.
No
show tomorrow because we don't have a show tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. No show because we're going to be doing pre and post on Saturday for the first preseason game. So our next show is Thursday. Training camp starts Thursday. We're going to hear from Jim Nill tomorrow. We're going to hear from Glen Gulutzan tomorrow.
Wait, no.
We'll talk about that on Thursday, you and I, and then Sam will be up in Frisco. So tune in.
You could have told me that before.
DLLS. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you Thursday at 2 o'clock.
I'd have something
Enjoy
lined
tomorrow's
up by
mini pod.
now.
We recorded a mini pod. It'll come out tomorrow.
That's not right.
You'll see it then. Bye.
That's not right.
We all silly like the mayor.